Hey guys, what's going on? I have a Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle I had a few days ago, and it was against just someone I added, I believe, on the Pokemon Showdown trading room, just to get some trade, and I threw a request out for a battle, and they answered me, Paige, not sure if it's a guy or a girl, but regardless, the battle turned out pretty good. I have a rain team, they have a slightly OU-ish looking team, minus the Noivern. And they have a Landorus, which was a little bit intimidating at first, just because I don't have very many Pokemon things, minus a random clone Keldeo I received from a gentleman on Showdown. But regardless, getting into the battle, I start off my Politoed, he goes out with his Landorus, and I am a little bit scared, but not really, just because I know that Landorus cannot kill me in one shot, and I can easily threaten him out with a Scald, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, whatever I may be carrying. So I figure he's probably just going to switch out. And I figure he has a Goodra on his team, which can sponge practically any attack from a Politoed. So I just go straight for the Toxic, just because this Goodra is going to be a little bit of a thorn in my side for the match, because it's very bulky, and my special attackers are not going to be doing a whole bunch. Like, even a Specs Draco Meteor from my Noivern would not be enough to kill it, and it can just retaliate with his own Dragon move and probably OHKO me. But he gets Toxic, I have to switch out, and I wanted to see if he had the Thunderbolt, so I go into my Excadrill, because Excadrill can take pretty much anything except for a Muddy Water or a Focus Blast. But he ends up going for the Sludge Wave, which I found was a little weird. I wasn't sure if he was thinking that I was going to go into my Breloom or not, but right here I make another switch just because I want to make sure he does not have Muddy Water or Focus Blast, because even though I'm especially defensive, I really don't want my Excadrill taking that much damage this early in the game. So I bring my Noivern just because I want to get that Goodra out of the way, and he brings in his Landorus, and right here I make a little bit of a misplay. I end up going for the Hurricane when I should have went for the Draco Meteor, because Hurricane could not kill at all unless I get the the Confuse Hacks and get lucky from there. But I go for the Hurricane, doesn't do enough. Draco could have killed, but I don't go for it, whatever. He kills me with the Stone Edge, and that's a little bit depressing, because that was one of the few ways I had to easily deal a butt ton of damage to his Goodra. But I bring in my Heliolisk here, and I make another misplay. I predicted him to switch out because I didn't think he was going to want to lose his Landorus this early in the game. But needless to say, I lose my Heliolisk, not feeling too hot so far. I lost two of my powerful special attackers. And right here, I figure, okay, whatever. I'm just going to go into my Talonflame, just because he is probably going to switch out this time, and he doesn't have a very reliable switch-in minus his Mawile for a Brave Bird. But he gets Intimidated off, which is a little bit relevant, just because my Brave Birds are going to be doing a little bit less. And unfortunately, Talonflame doesn't synergize as well as I'd like him to in a Rain team, just because his Flare Blitz, or her Flare Blitz, I don't care, are not going to be doing as much damage. But right here, my opponent could have gone for the Sucker Punch and probably just one-shot my Talonflame because it's kind of frail, and won the match from there just because I could not kill a Mawile. But I end up going for the Flare Blitz just because I figure balls to the wall, I have to do as much damage as I can to this, and I get a crit, which this crit was probably the only reason I stayed in this game. Luckily, he gets a little bit greedy and goes for the Swords Dance, and I'm like, yes, okay, now I can kill a Mawile. Because even though he can go for Sucker Punch, Brave Bird priority is going to kill it off. So that's awesome. I have one of his giant threats out of the way, which is really nice to think about. But he has his own Talonflame in the back, which Talonflame on Talonflame usually does not work out in my favor, just because this one's adamant and doesn't have that much speed investment, because it just pretty much goes for a little bit of a bulky set with Swords Dance. So I have to switch out. I do not want to lose my Talonflame this far, because Talonflame is probably the only way I'm going to be able to win this match. But I'm going into my Politoed, and he ends up going for the Brave Bird, and I can sponge pretty much any attack from this, just because I am a physically defensive Politoed. And he has to switch out at this point, just because his Talonflame is not expendable at all, and that Goodra can take any move at all from this, just because it's already Toxic, and Scald won't do very much damage to it, and the only other two moves I have are Sleep Talk and Rest. So I end up going for the Scald here just to get a little bit more damage. It did like 5 or 10%, if that, but it's damage, I have to get it off, and it's poisoned, which is really nice. That's going to rack up a little bit. Right here, I don't really have a very reliable switch-in for a Thunderbolt or anything, so I ended up taking one. I figured I could take at least one and then just rest up, which I do end up doing. It makes my Polytoad a little bit less ideal, just because I have to rely on Sleep Talk, which can be a little bit annoying at times, but I'm at full HP, which is really nice. Unfortunately, I can't really stay in because I can't touch Gudra. So I know he's gonna go for the Thunderbolt because that's his only super effective move against me. So I can get a free switch into my Breloom, which this Breloom is my pride and joy because I hatched it and it's shiny and it's beautiful. But I got my Breloom here, and this is my fun set. It is a sub-punching set. It's Substitute, Focus Punch, Seed Bomb, and Spore. And I know I can outspeed this just because Gudra generally doesn't run that much speed investment, if any. And I can just get a Substitute up and pretty much just go from there. But my Toxic Orb activates, and I go for the Substitute on his switch, and I know he has his Talonflame in the back still, which that Talonflame is being a little bit annoying right now, just because I cannot do a whole bunch to it. Even though I am a Substitute Focus Punch set, I know Focus Punch is not going to be doing that much. I just go for it anyways, just because I figure I might as well get some damage on this. Even though it probably has Roost, I didn't really care at the time. But he reveals he's a Bulk Up set, which is a little bit more dangerous than the Swords Dance set, just because as opposed to the Swords Dance set, Bulk Up set can be used mid-game and usually sweep from there. So at this point I was terrified, just because if he gets up a couple Bulk Ups, nothing on my team is going to be able to kill it effectively without dying, pretty much. So he just continues to go for the Bulk Ups. Right here, I'm thinking, okay, I'll just go for the Spore. That's not that bad. I can Spore, I can go to my Polytoad, it'll be a good day. But I should have thought about this. He came in on my Breloom on purpose, so he had to have the Lumberry. So he does indeed have the Lumberry, which is a little bit annoying, which means I have to Spore again, which if he would have Brave Birded there, and then just Brave Birded again, it would have been game over for me for sure. But he continued to just go for the Bulk Up, which I wasn't 100% sure on. But I just Spore him again just because I have to, and hope he sleeps for a few turns just so I can safely switch on my Polytoad. But right here, I have to switch out just because I don't want him to wake up at all. I want those sleep counters to be up as high as possible. So I switch out, I go back to my Polytoad, and right now he's at +3 attack, +3 defense. And I'm a little bit worried on if I can indeed take a +3 Brave Bird. I am max HP and max defense, but I was a bit risky, but it was a little bit risky. He wakes up after 2 turns, I think, and goes to the Brave Bird, and I was like, please, Polytoad, take this. And I do indeed live the Brave Bird with 2 HP. I was amazed that I was able to take a stab +3 Brave Bird. And even more lucky, I use a Sleep Talk, and normally I just hit rest all day long, but I get the Scald off, which is amazing, because that means I can take out his Talonflame, which was a giant, giant thorn in my side, and that was capable of just sweeping my entire team pretty much at that point. But he brings in his Landorus at this point, and I was a little bit confused why he brought that in, just because if I hit another Stealth Rock, or not Stealth Rock, if I hit another Scald, that would just easily destroy it. But I figure I don't have any reason to switch out, and he gets his Rocks up, which is kind of relevant considering I have my own Talonflame. But I got my Sleep Talk. I get a Toxic off, which I was not unhappy with, but it wasn't going to kill it. If it was just regular like Poison Powder poison damage, it would have killed it most likely. But that 6% is not going to do enough to kill him off, and it's a little bit annoying because he does have the Intimidate, and he ends up U-turning just to save it off, and it's a bit bad for me because my Polytoad dies. The Rain isn't as relevant now, but my Polytoad dies. I lose my special attacker, or not my special attacker, my physical defender. But I forgot his Landorus had Life Orb, so he ends up taking me out. He probably should have just switched out immediately, but he brings in his Noivern, which really, really scared me at the time, just because Noivern has Hurricane, and with the Rain up, it's going to hit 100% of the time. So I have to switch out my Breloom just because there's no way Breloom's going to be taking any move at all. So I bring my Excadrill because I can pretty much take any move this Noivern is going to throw at me, just because I resist both of its stabs, and Thunderbolt's not Thunderbolt, and Flamethrower is not going to be doing a whole bunch right now. So he goes for the air slash and misses, which is a little bit relevant later on, I think, but I'm not sure how much damage it would have done. It is more accurate than Hurricane, but the power drop is definitely notable. And he brings in his Gengar here, which I go for the Rapid Spin, and I forgot to write down what was on his team, so I was like, crap, he probably has a Ghost type, but he does. And I'm not sure if he noticed that I have Mold Breaker, and I can easily just get off a Earthquake here and easily kill the Gengar. At first I was worried about the Focus Sash, just because that would make sense to bring it in, just because it can easily take one hit and then probably two-shot me. But his Shadow Ball did a lot of damage. It got a crit, which was a little bit relevant. But right here, I'm just going to be able to tank a Flamethrower from this Noivern, just because the rain's up, and luckily I can get off a Rapid Spin. And this Rapid Spin was definitely important, just because at this point in the game, my mindset is, okay, what I have to do is switch out, hopefully take a little bit of damage from my Flamethrower with my Talonflame, get a Swords Dance up, and sweep from there. Just because my my Excadrill was not going to be able to do a whole lot, just because it got its Rapid Spin off, and that was about it. But I just easily, like, I realized that his Noivern is Specs or Scarfed. I'm not sure because it's super fast. So, and a Flamethrower is not going to be able to take me out, and I just get off a free Swords Dance, which this was probably the height of the battle for me, just because at this point I was like, okay, there's pretty much no way I can lose at this point, just because he has no priority on his team left, and this Goodra is super bulky on the special side, but on the physical side it's a little bit frail. It's not great, but it does get by, but it's not going to take a +2 Adamant Brave Bird for my Talonflame. He gets the gooey thing, which at first I was like, no, now his Noivern can outspeed me, but I forgot about Gale Wing, so I was like, okay, sweet. So I can easily just clean up from here with my Talonflame. Battle was cool. I'm going to see if I can upload a few more. I have a few saved on the verse recorder. I just got to get used to using the ghetto setup of getting a couple boxes and my phone to record, which it turned out a little better than I thought it was, but it's still not ideal. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to see if I can get a couple more battles up in the next week or two. I am in school right now, and it should work out. But thank you very much, and see you guys later.